In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place.
Well, hello, and welcome everyone to Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. Today is Sunday, March 8th, 2026, and it is daylight savings time here in the U.S. For those states that follow it. I wish all of us didn't follow it, but so we had to move our clocks up an hour. So if we sound a little bit tired, that might be why. But it is a beautiful day, and we are excited to have you all here to talk about the workplace relationships and about turning conflict into collaboration by managing up, down, left, right, and all different directions. But before we get into the topic, let's say hello to my wonderful co-host, Melissa Houston. How are you, my friend, this morning?
You know, I'm not as tired as most would hope to be today. It could be that I do a 4 a.m. wake up and I didn't really feel it today. I don't know what it is, but if you guys are feeling it, I'm so sorry. I'm excited though. I feel like the days are going to be brighter. I know in the Pacific Northwest, we are going to have a little bit more daylight now because the sun was up when the show started, and that was beautiful. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to spring. This is always that time, right? And I hope it stays. I don't want to keep rotating either. In Arizona, we didn't reflect daylight savings time at all, and Hawaii either. And I just think it was so much nicer to not have to move your life around.
Oh, and I totally agree. I think that they should change it for all states to be that way because, you know, it affects you for like a week. It really does. You don't think it does. And then you start realizing, why am I out of whack? And that 1 hour it messes it up. So I really do think they'd be nice. But other than that, it is kind of cloudy here today. But, you know, other than that, it's can be up in the 70s this week. after having such a cold winter, 70 degrees is something that we are looking forward to. But I want to.
I'm looking forward to snow possible this week somehow.
Oh, damn.
I just looked. I was like, I wonder what we're going to be. And it said tomorrow and Tuesday we might get snow. 80% chance on Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, enjoy it. I want to say welcome to the people who have joined us early. Coach Carey, watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. By the way, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn. But good morning to David Cause, Stephen Ang, it's great to see you. And we have Leslie Flowers. Always appreciate you and your amazing insights, and of course, your LinkedIn TV guide. We appreciate how you promote all the shows that everyone does. Mike LeBlanc, great to see you. Like the new picture. You're looking very artistic. Meryl Cass, who is just an amazing person and connector, communicator. And Meryl, I am going to submit for that keynote speaker thing that you sent me. So thank you. Meryl's always looking out for people. He's like, I think you'd be great for this. And it's a keynote speaker application for a SHRM conference in New Jersey. Now, if any of you know anything about Meryl, you know that Meryl is an amazing person and we value him so much. But no one's ever seen Meryl. And I've only heard Meryl say, oh no, crap, because he came up on the stage and didn't mean to. So if I come to New Jersey, Meryl, I want at least a phone call or see you in person if possible. All right. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. All right. So let's go ahead and do some introductions. Miss Houston, would you please start?
Okay, guys, if I don't know, there was an echo. If I don't know you, let me begin with telling you I'm Melissa Houston, cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. And what that means is I help people and businesses go to the next level, whatever that is. We get a plan together, cultivate that dream out of thin air, and use circles and crayons and to-do list and fun stuff. But really, it's about accountability and action, assessing, looking at the ROI of all the actions we take, and then repeating the process. It works for those who work it. And if you need help, you can check out my services at documentthenact.com. It's the premise in which I think all success lies. So check me out there. I also have my YouTube channel that is streaming live also. It is Document Then Act. You can find me there, and you can find my other show, Coffee Chats with Melissa, which I host every Saturday morning, and see some of the playback there. So please follow. I think I'm at 45 subscribers last I checked. I'm trying to get up there. I'm going to be dumping a ton of reels into that place soon. But I'm just looking to diversify my platform. So if you're over there, I want to be friends.
Awesome. And let's help get her subscribers up. Y'all have helped me get over 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I don't know, it's made a difference. I feel like more people are going to it now for some reason. I don't know if the algorithm likes that. So let's help Melissa get up to those 100. All the videos that we do, we collaborate together. So you can find them on both our pages. And she has so many other great stuff that she does on her page that you got to check out, especially the Coffee Chats with Melissa. So if you have not subscribed to her channel, I'm going to put up one more time. Go ahead and subscribe that. Just scan that QR code so you can subscribe to her and give her a few more followers. For those of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I am the founder of Cofino Consulting. If you need HR services, training, recruiting services, or audit and compliance services, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help out. I just finished a training class for a wonderful hospitality team and a country club, and it went really well. They actually want me to do more training, so I sent them a catalog of the trainings that I offer. In addition to that, I would always appreciate you all to follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Obviously, I house all the career chaos and coaching here, but I also house the workplace wellness hour that I do every other Monday, and some of the social Saturday chats, and my solo show of the Future Ready Voices that I do once a quarter, where I highlight top execs, CEOs, managing directors, and senior leaders about the future of work. So love for you all to follow me there and subscribe there. With that being said, I will say that I want to say hello to some people who have joined us here real quick. We have, oops, where did the chat go? There it goes. We have Jameson, who's joined us. Great to see you there. We also have Dr. Tanya, who has the Work the virtual, oh, good Lord, I'm going to chop it up. The virtual wellness experience. Virtual wellness experience coming up on March 20th and 21st. I'll be speaking at that event with a number of other speakers, a mix of people that you may know here from LinkedIn and people outside of LinkedIn that you don't know, providing just great things. I've done this now for 3 years, and it's an amazing event. I'm going to put the link to the event in the comments in a little bit, but definitely check out Dr. Tanya and the virtual wellness experience. It's going to be a great event. Nicole is on here as well. Great to see you, Nick. Nick has been our publisher for a number of books. She is working hard today to get my Spanish version of Miranda Max out finally. So thank you for working on it today, Nicole. I appreciate it, because that I've been waiting on a long time, and now it's just a small QR code issue that we need to fix. And I'm hoping that it will be available as soon as tomorrow for you all. Don't worry, I'll post about it. And then Gregory Liverpool, great to see you. Yes, it's the first day of daylight savings time. Lisa Fevick, great to see you. Alejandro, thank you for coming. It's been a while. Great to see you, my friend. And Aaron Gibson, thank you for supporting us on YouTube as always. All right, Houston, you ready to dive into this topic? Because I think workplace relationships are important nowadays, and obviously, I had to turn conflict and collaboration because some people avoid conflict, and some conflict is good. We've proven here that, hey, you can have some conflict, resolve it, and come to a better solution sometimes.
I got to just give a shout out before we even get into this. It was Kenneth Dunner, who was in my workplace of Coffee Chats with Melissa. And I was talking about a topic that fired my friend Felipe up. And he came on stage and we were sharing our perspectives. And Ken Dunner said, you guys
We were debating.
Hey, whatever you want to say. Felipe was wrong. He was wrong, and I was eating his face off for it. And he thought I was wrong, and he was trying to come back. And Ken has always said, Kenny's like, Melissa wins every time. But truthfully, it was that moment where somebody came in, saw there was a conflict, and said, you guys should just do this. This is fun to watch. You guys are actually sharing valid points, and it was a lot of fun. But that approach in that moment genuinely created a ripple, right? It was that chaos of the moment. We were heated up. We were having fun with it, guys. Let me be very transparent. We were not fighting, but it was a great debate. And we had energy, and we were throwing elbows, like virtual metaphorical elbows. Big sister, little sister, big brother, little brother. We take turns on who's right in the moment. But that was something that really harnessed an energy. Somebody could have come in and said, Melissa, you're being disrespectful to Felipe. Or Felipe, you're being disrespectful to Melissa. You guys shouldn't even talk to each other anymore. That's a parallel behavior, right? And instead of doing that, Kenny's like, ooh, I love this. This is delicious and scrumptious and whatever else he was using to define it. But that was something that gave feedback in the moment. It gave us perspective we didn't have a minute ago. It turned the chaos into collaboration that you see today. And that's just one quick example of you don't even have to officially be part of the program. Felipe and Kenny were not part of my team, finger quotes, right? They weren't paid to be at Coffee Chats. I'm not paying them to do a service. But the leadership Kenny brought forward just by saying, this is delicious. I love it. You should do it. You two are a great team to argue together, even just to let us watch you argue. It makes us think better. I just love that perspective. And so I kind of want to use that kind of leadership concept, the communication concept of going from chaos to something better and having it be kind of the point of the show for me, right? That's where I went with it. And so Felipe, I love this, but I feel like we are standing on business by talking about this topic because this is where we began.
No, and we've been proven you can be successful. It's like debating. It's like two people arguing about their favorite football teams, and they have different teams. They're not mad at each other. They're just stating their case, and they're passionate. And at the end, they can agree that, you know what, that player did make a great play. Yeah, absolutely. Or you debate a point and say, okay, I didn't see your point that way. I get it. What I always say is that Melissa and I, we argue like brother and sister because we have different opinions about how to get you to the same place. It's like Google Maps. She wants to take the nice, beautiful, quiet, countryside road and I want to take the fast highway road and get there quicker. Doesn't matter. We're both going to get there at the same time, or the same place. It's just about how we get there. So with that
Oh,
being said,
listen, and by the way, if I'm going through the woods, it's because we're gonna bypass the traffic on the freeway, still get there early with a bucket of
oh my
flowers.
God, you have
But
to sit
yes,
there and try.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Welcome to the
Welcome,
chaos,
beat
brother.
me.
Let's get going.
All right. Well, let's go into here. I brought up 5 points here that I wanted us to start off talking about because I think it's important for people to know, well, how do I? Because some people avoid conflict because they don't like it. I get it. But you don't have to make it a negative thing. It's about having a discussion. And the discussion doesn't have to get heated, even though you disagree. But when you realize that somebody has a different point of view that adds value, you should probably start listening. So the first one here is address the conflict early. If you think there's conflict, don't let it linger. Don't let it fester and grow into a bigger problem because all it's going to do is become harder. It's going to cause you more anxiety, more stress. It's going to cause you to probably not handle it as well as you could because it's getting worse. And now you're getting more nervous and you might say the wrong thing. But when you address it early before it becomes a big, huge issue, you can talk calmly about it. Houston, what are your thoughts about this?
Oh, it's so important. Imagine being in the kitchen. You guys, if you've been in a kitchen with other people, you're probably going to understand, right? You're in the kitchen, you're doing your thing, and then somebody comes into the kitchen and they're kind of just a little bit in your space, not a lot in your space. It's bothersome. You're changing the way you're moving in the kitchen because somebody else is there and you really don't want them there. But hey, that's my husband, that's my wife, that's my kid, whatever, right? And then you don't say anything, but then you need that side of the kitchen now because you're done with this part of your work. And so now, because you didn't say, hey, get out of the kitchen. I'm busy. I'm already cooking. I can't share my space right now. I'm going to need that counter too. Now you're in a dilemma personally talking to yourself about, oh, why are they in my room, in my space when I needed it? They have no idea it's wrong until you turn around and go, hey, get out of the kitchen. And so, just turning around going, hey, wait, are you going to start a recipe? Having that question, having that conversation, if something starts to feel bad, just going, ooh, my stomach's uneasy. Not waiting until, oh my gosh, pull over right now or my tummy's gonna, and it really is that little bit of unease, that feeling, you address it before it becomes bigger. It's like blowing up a balloon inside. The more you let the air fill, the more you see that balloon. The more you see the balloon, the more present it becomes, right? And if you keep filling it up, it's just going to get bigger and bigger until it pops.
Absolutely. Want to say hello to Christine for for joining us. Americo, thank you for giving up an hour of sleep to be here with us. We appreciate that so much. And Lauren Sermon. Hey, Lauren, great to see you back.
Hey, girl.
All right. So real quick, as a reminder, we are live. If this is something, the topic that you think others might benefit from, think about those people that avoid conflict or talk about, oh, I have all this conflict at work. Invite them to the show so they can join us live or repost the room to your network so they can join us live. That way they can benefit from all the stuff that you're hearing as well. All right. Number 2, we just talked about this. Listen to understand. So often we say we're listening. No, you're hearing people, but you're not listening to understand. When you try to listen to understand and focus where the other person is coming from, that perspective can be so valuable. But it's like that old adage saying, listen to understand before you try to be understood. Okay? Meaning that listen to that person's point, try to understand where they're coming from, and then share your side. Because your side, you might change your mindset once you listen to them. But a wise person's going to listen to different perspectives. You think about a leader of a team. A smart leader will go to their team and say, hey, this is our situation. I need recommendations, options, suggestions. What do y'all think? This is valuable if they listen to them. But when someone has conflict, if you listen to understand, you might find the root issue isn't what you thought it was. So there's so much value to listening. I can't stress it. I've always said God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should listen twice as much as we speak. And I say that to myself a lot, trust me. But that's an important thing. Houston, what are your thoughts?
Oh, 2 ears, one mouth was right on the tip of my tongue. It's definitely important to remember that. But the other part, from just a sales training perspective, from a coaching perspective, if I speak first, I am guiding the conversation. It very much, and I'm not a therapist, but in therapy, they ask questions to let you guide where the conversation should go. They test the water. They get a pH balance, so to speak. And I think when you ask questions before you apply your solution, you're wise. If I don't know why you're bleeding, how do I know where to put the band-aid? If I don't know what the problem is, how am I going to come in knowing the client's going to buy my product as a solution? I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. And so not only do we have it from that aspect of assessing before we address the problem, but then tonality, guys, meeting clients or your person or your partner, wherever, whoever you're communicating with, where they are. If I walk into a room that's full of collegiates who are using $10 words, my vocabulary needs to increase. And I won't know that until I listen to them speak. If I walk into a room full of 5-year-olds, I need to hear these 5-year-olds talk. Maybe they're going to say something that matters. If I walk into a room and say 6, 7, I just got a whole classroom to pay attention to me for no reason at all because they use that term. I'm speaking their language. And so I think listening to understand, asking questions, understanding how the other person communicates most effectively helps.
Absolutely. And asking those questions, you make an excellent point. I always tried, and this is a good tip for you all to hold on to. When trying to listen to understand, and to Melissa's point, asking questions, if you don't know what questions to ask, have this in the back of your head. Ask why 5 times. And don't be like a little kid, like, why? Be intelligent about it. So, wait, why is that important to you? Why did that bother you so much, though? Why is it when I did this, you reacted this way? Okay, why? And so when you get that, you start getting such valuable information. So start off with the 5 whys, all right? Oh my God, did Lauren's sermon just put 6, 7 in the chat?
Yes, she did. Our girl knows she's got one of those kiddos right at that age. That's what I mean. When you speak in a language people understand, they show up. They're like, oh, I know what she said. I know that.
Okay, so all right, let's go to the next one here because thank you, Lauren, for the comic relief.
And for listening. She's listening.
She is. All right. Number 3, focus on the issue, not the person. Look, we have people that just sometimes irk us. They rub us the wrong way. And we just, for whatever reason, we don't click with them. But we can work with them. I always tell people in the workplace, you don't have to be best friends, but you got to learn to work together as professionals. So don't let your biases about the person confuse the issue. Because if you're a true professional, you're going to try to resolve the issue without making it personal, because you don't want people making it personal about you, do you? So focus on the issue, separate that problem, and prioritize it. And this helps keep the conversation productive. It really does. And the person will probably respect you more for not saying things like, well, you always do this. Or why, you are just constantly difficult to talk to. Don't insult the person. Don't make it about them. Focus on the issue. How can we resolve this? I want to resolve with this together, and I need your help. So can we sit down and do this together in a way that is productive for both of us? That is focusing on the issue and taking anything personal out. Houston, I know that you and I, we the fine line between that sometimes for us, but we know how to separate it when it comes down to important issues. What do you think?
I think it's important to remember who you're talking to, why it matters, like the who, what, where, when, whys in all things, but especially when you're focused on issues, problems, concerns, things that hurt, sometimes things that burn. We're talking about a scope of workplace, but there's a lot of friendships that are in workplace. There are times where your boss has to lay you off. Are you mad at the boss? Are you mad at the company? Are you mad at the economy? What was the issue that created that ripple for them? And are you mad at the delivery method? I always give the analogy of I am just the speaker. I'm not the radio. I'm not responsible for the messaging that's coming out of me. I am just relaying the data to you. And So there's some of that depending on who the person is, right? Especially in the workplace that I would use as a filter. But the other side of it is if you're talking to your person, your people, your friend, your partner, somebody who you care about beyond the workplace, you have to remember why you're fighting for it. Why you wanted to address the problem in the first place. Who is this person to you and what outcomes are you trying to do? Like do your who, what, where, when, why before you approach the problem. Because if I go to my grandmother, for example, and say, you upset me, you hurt my feelings, and it's not okay, my response is the ROI is not going to be, we're never speaking again, right? And so I have to make sure I keep my words in line so I don't disrupt that relationship further. If the outcome is to fix the problem, if that's the goal, then we have to make sure we're taking the steps to get there and the who, what, where, when, why's before you show up, and then listening to theirs before you serve yours is going to be very helpful.
And I will say that understanding how they communicate and how they receive information is important when you're trying to resolve a problem in a conflict. I talk about communication styles all the time, and understanding how someone likes to be approached. If someone likes to sit down and just kind of brainstorm together, great. Some people like to say, hey, send me the email about what you want to talk about. Let me read it, process it, and then let's meet. So also make sure that you approach them the right way, the right time, and please just have common sense to know the surroundings. If they're stressed out and busy, now may not be the right time to address the issue. Pick the right time.
Sorry, before we go on, yes, I didn't want to interrupt, but the other thought is if Felipe has been chewing on an idea for the last 2 weeks, because we did a show, I said something maybe was a thorn in his side, he chews on it for 2 weeks and then comes to me and wants to talk about it, I would expect him to expect me to need some time to process too. And so if you take 2 weeks to process an idea on your own before you present it to the other, are you willing to give them the same time frame to do the processing, or do you expect them to come to a conclusion faster, to come to their understanding faster? If it's 24 hours, like that's the minimum for leadership, is if you have a problem, you process for at least 24 hours, you sleep on it. But then when you come back, I recommend giving another 24 hours before you reassess again. Once that person gets their feedback, if you can do a follow-up meeting, let them have time to process what it means, what it says, because humans are humans and data gets processed at different times. But a good idea is 24 hours for everybody.
And I gotta stress, just because it's a priority for you to resolve it, it may not be a priority for them. So you got to be cognizant of what's going on in their life as much as possible. If Melissa is dealing with a crisis in her workplace, say one of her employees got hurt and she's dealing with a crisis, and I'm pushing her like, call me back, I need to talk to you today, this is important. And she's like, I'm dealing with something I can't right now. I'm like, well, this is important. Clearly you don't want to continue working with me because you're not making time for me. I'm an ass. I'm sorry. She's going through something difficult. I need to give her space, and I will wait until she has time. So that sounds a little harsh, but that's the reality of things, is that we got to be aware that everyone's life is not going the same way yours is. So sometimes we have to recognize this may not be the best time. All right, let's keep on going. Number 4, create psychological safety. This seems like common sense, you all, but when you put someone in a psychological safe place, they're more likely to talk openly and comfortable. It encourages them to be respectful. People are more likely to speak honestly. It's just like when they come in to sit down with you, say you're like, all right, sit down. We got a serious topic to discuss. Okay, you're already putting them on edge. Versus, hey, sit down. Let's go. I'm looking forward to us resolving this together. I know we can do this. It's whether you're their supervisor, their colleague, it doesn't matter. You don't want to go into the conversation with any kind of anxiety, intimidation, fear, or stress. You want to be able to make sure that both people or both parties or all the parties involved feel comfortable enough to share their concerns, because if you don't get through the concerns, you're not going to resolve the problem. Houston, what are your thoughts?
I think if we have done 1 through 3, this has already started, right? I do think having a space away from either of your your zones, whether that is your corner of the store you're working in, whether it's the corner of the office, whether it's the corner of the booth at the event. I don't care. I really don't. If you both have your place in an organization where it is your spot, your desk, your office, get the hell away from it. Go to the conference room, go to get coffee, go have tea, go sit in a park at a bench. It's something that takes you away from home field advantage, so to speak, right? There's that mentality there, guys. We've been taught to have that mindset of there's always a more advantageous person in the room in those kind of meetings if you work that way. I thought Mary Poppins when you were talking, going into the bank office and asking for an extension on the loan for the house and just the doom, the big office. It was every footstep echoed. The desk was oversized. The chair was oversized. The ego behind the desk was the same. And is that the boss you want to be? Do you want to have that Wizard of Oz effect of going to meet the wizard down in his office space, be the shaky knees down the red carpet? Because I wouldn't want to be that, right? I want to be the one oiling the elbows and the arms and helping them along. And so really it's remembering who you are. If you know who you want to be, if you've done the steps up to this point and you've taken the time to process and you know it's not the human, it's a problem, it's a training, it's communication, it's lack of resources, then you can tackle it together. And starting that psychological safety of this is a you and I problem we're tackling together. You're on my team. The problem's on the other side of the field. You and I are on the same side. How do we fix this? It really just opens the door for a ton. Felipe?
Well said. Well said. All right. The last one here. Turn the solutions into shared wins. Be humble. Don't be a jackass. Don't be like, oh, yeah, I got them to see my side. Yeah, I convinced them. Yeah, I turned them around. You went, no. You went in there to resolve a problem and you resolved it together. Share the success of it. Don't be cocky. Don't be trying to act like, oh, because of your master intelligence, you were able to resolve this huge problem. No, you did it as a team, you moron. Okay? So please recognize that when you come up with a solution to something, recognize all the ones that help you come up with a solution. Don't take all the credit. Don't be a credit hog. Show that you respect the people and the information they shared to get you to that solution. I'll stop there. Houston?
I love this so much. Maybe not the words you're using, because I think we could use it better if we're all on the same team. We don't call each other names. But truthfully, it does feel a little bit silly to have your wins not be a team win. Because even if you're the leader, even if you're the quarterback, even if you're the one making all the plays and decisions, you can't do it all alone. Somebody's filing your paperwork at night even. Somebody's cleaning the toilet so your guests don't come into a messy bathroom because you're not doing it. Somebody else is. When you create that environment of we win together, we lose together, it changes the dynamic. And I have personally cultivated this at my day job at the motorcycle shop. I get text messages all week long. And, as a retail manager, you expect to be on call a lot. You probably get a lot more communication than most on your phone. In industry wide, that's a statistic. Mine come in and say, hey, by the way, I did this amazing thing. Hey, we're at this much sales for the day and it's only this time. Hey, I got 56 membership signups out of 114 for the whole event for the day. My assistant went and got 56 people to sign up. There's 20 people there probably doing the same job, and he got half of the sign up, basically. I got texted that while he's not even on my watch for the next week and a half still, right? And I think that communication, where the problems that we had, the things that we did to train, the communication started flowing up without me asking. Even on my days off, even when they don't have to be accountable, they want that gold star. They want the shared win. They want the high five. And I think you can create that and turn those people into advocates for yourself, the team, and each other. And that's just so huge.
Absolutely. And when we win together, everyone wins. And yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be calling names. I retract the moron comment. All right. So to wrap up here, just one last takeaway here. Remember that conflict isn't the enemy. Unmanaging conflict is. And when we handle it well, it becomes a pathway to trust, innovation, and stronger collaborations. Think about this. If you broke through that conflict and resolved it and were able to collaborate with somebody, now you have someone to collaborate again in the future because you know you were able to do it successfully. And that's a powerful thing for a working relationship to have, to overcome conflict, realize that you all work well together and that you are a strong team for future projects. That's the miracle of working through a conflict and having a good working relationship. Houston?
Yeah, I mean, conflict just shows you there's something there. It's when you rub your hand over your desk, if you feel a little bit of abrasion, just means you need some sandpaper. And that conflict, that push, that work that's being done to kind of shine each other up. Like the sandpaper's deteriorating while it's working on the wood. You guys are they're both giving a little, right, to make it smooth again. And if you use that idea of we're not changing the desk, we're not doing a lot of work. We're just making it to where when somebody else rubs their hand against us, they're not going to get a splinter. They're not going to be in pain. So I'm going to give a little, I'm going to shape you a little, you're going to shape me, and we're going to work this out. And just being willing to fix it. It goes back to slide 1, right? Like, don't let the small things become big things. If you don't deal with conflict early, it's going to become something bigger later. And so just being mindful of who, what, where, when, why at all times.
All right. Well, I hope you all found that valuable. Let us know in the chat what some of the takeaways you found most valuable that you're going to share, apply, use, because this is really something that, again, if Melissa and I had not had that conflict on her show on that day and Kenny had not spoken up, we would not be here today at season 3 realizing that, hey, we can have conflict resolve and come up with some great ideas to share. And that's what we've done with Careers, Chaos, and Coaching for 3 years now. Want to welcome, David, you're right. Team wins, no spotlight needed. Absolutely. Take away the spotlight. Or if you're going to have a spotlight, shine it on the whole team, not just one person. And Omar, it's great to see you. Zoom party watching on YouTube. Omar really wants us to do the game show. So we got to figure out how to do that one day because that would be fun. I've watched his game shows. He puts a lot of work into those and he does an amazing job.
Hello, Omar. He's in Phoenix. He's in Arizona. I'm from Arizona. Yep.
You got to sit there and just make them like, oh, it's my friend. They're closer to me in my proximity. They live in my state.
Hey, I didn't say all that. I just know something about him. I mean, I pay attention to everybody. I just don't always have time to engage the way you do because, I do other things sometimes. But no, I love it. I wish we could get our schedules to align. It's really hard right now with me being in my super heavy motorcycle season. We're busier than ever, but
we'll figure it out more. We'll figure it out. Well, listen, we put the link in the chat for you to join us on stage. Please feel free to join us on stage. We'd love to get up and have you all discuss how you've dealt with conflict or what was some of your favorite takeaways today. But one of the things that I've realized also is that conflict arises not just in the workplace, but like we talked about, at home, with friendships, with romantic relationships. And the longer you're with somebody, it's easier to double down sometimes. And I don't know about you, Houston, but with family, you use past experiences of like, well, this is how you were when you were a kid. Okay, well, that was 25 years ago. We're adults now. I think we can handle it a little bit differently than when we were kids. But when you're dealing with siblings or someone from your youth, sometimes you revert back to that childhood mentality, even down to like using childhood terminology like, well, you stink too or whatever, something stupid and childish. What are your thoughts about this?
I will say you can revert back, you can double down. I think there's almost a safety in it, which I think, and we've talked about it before, when you see those family gatherings, the person who kind of spirals at the event, in my experience only, statistically speaking, was the one going through the most in life. And this was probably the most supported and loved they felt all year long. And when you finally feel comforted, held, whatever, like, think about your worst day at school and you come home and you finally just let it all out because you're in your safe zone. Sometimes that happens. And if we're not aware of what's happening to the human in front of us, right? Sometimes we just see tears and go, oh, that's manipulation. Oh, they just want to get out of trouble. Parents see it where the kids are like crying before the punishment. And that, maybe, but a lot of the time, especially as grown-ups, that's not happening. It's just there's real emotion tied to something. And if you guys can get to where the bleed is, why we're seeing blood all over the place all of a sudden, you can fix it. And sometimes it's as simple as I just didn't feel heard, and now you've seen me, and now everything feels better. But I think there's that safety in the relationship that people rely on a little too heavily. Relationships of 10, 20 years dissolving because they just knew, well, that's my husband, that's my wife, they're never going anywhere, so I don't have to pay attention to the string. And I think that's really detrimental in business and personal relationships. And then the overlap, guys. If my personal relationship isn't great, there is a ripple in everything I do. I might be more forgetful about the grocery shopping list on the counter. And so it's messing up my shopping. It's going to mess up my budget because I don't have a well defined list. It may do the same in a workplace. I missed a meeting. I forgot to add something to my calendar. I didn't return a call in time because I was worried about a text. These are things that can happen. And if you're not paying attention to your communication, whatever you're doing at work will overlap at home and vice versa because you're spending almost equal times in both places. You're building both habits at both times. And if you don't figure out your communication in both places, you're going to falter. It's going to eventually take over the whole life. And that's where I think it's so important to have this conversation and often and be honest. We are not perfect. We have fights with our spouses. We have great days with our spouses. We have great days in business, and we have days where we don't get anything done or don't make any money in our personal life, right? And that's okay. Everybody needs a rest day. Everybody has a down day. Every relationship goes through cycles, business and otherwise, but you have to anchor into the things that keep it consistent and long. And so I just love this conversation, Felipe. What do you think?
No, absolutely. And I love what Nick said, because you can't go into a conversation thinking, oh, I have the solution, I know it all. You have to go into the conversation with an open mind and being receptive to people giving you different ideas that are contrary to yours. I have a question for the audience. Which one of these things have you seen that has caused the most conflict in your workplace? Is it poor communication? Is it recognition issues? Is it managing up? Is it cross-team challenges? Or is it just personality and work styles? Because the one thing I keep on going back to is communication styles. Emails that get misinterpreted. That's happened to all of us. Oh, you seem so angry in the email. Like, no, I was just in a hurry and I just wrote it fast. But if somebody writes, this needs to be fixed ASAP, that can come across a little aggressive. But it's funny how if you spell out ASAP, hey, if you could fix this as soon as possible, I'd really appreciate it. It changes the tone a little bit. So how you communicate verbally, how you communicate in written form, how you communicate with your body language is going to add to diminish the conflict or to reduce the conflict or to fuel it. And I think that's the important thing that I want people to remember is the communication styles I talk about. When you understand how someone likes to receive communication, you're going to be so much more effective in resolving conflict because you respect them enough to understand them. And if I know that Melissa doesn't like it when I come fast and hard at her with an idea, and I keep on doing it, it's going to cause her angst. But if she says, hey, send it to me in an email, let me read it when I have a chance, and can we set up a time to talk about it tomorrow? Some people need that structure, that time to process, and you got to respect that. Because sometimes people might come in, if I come in all aggressive with an idea, it's like a bull in a china shop, but nobody needs that. So we have.
I think, where did Felipe go? Okay, so I'm just going to say something while I think he's coming back. I don't know where he went. For me, the thing he said that was most important in the email response was the who, what, where, when, and why was addressed. This is the problem. I would like a solution. This is why I'm coming to you. This is why it's a problem. Whatever it is, if you could just develop that concept in the email of the who, what, where, when, why. I want to follow up with you tomorrow. it really helps people, right? Because you have those details. And so if you can share the details and then let them process and prepare, it's super helpful. And Felipe does it naturally because as a leader, you learn these things and they don't call it the who, what, where, when, why, but we are taught to want to know the details. The more details we have, the less stress we are. The more details we have, the more we know where we can add to it. If you already have a recipe built, it's hard to add your perspective, your overlap, whatever it is. And so just leaving room for a little bit of play, especially in a partnership, asking the questions of, what are your thoughts on this? How can, and just revisiting the who, what, where, when, why in the moment after the email. It's just brilliant. Felipe, welcome back.
Thank you. I had to refresh my screen there, but yeah. So thank you everyone for all the comments in the chat. I love people sharing that. You know, I love Coach Carey's comment. I work for myself from home, so I'm going to guess the problem is personality conflicts. You know, sometimes we do have our own conflicts with ourselves, Coach Carey. Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, we have got 12 minutes until the end of the show, so the link is in the chat for you to join us up here on stage. And let's get to our first guest. Gregory, welcome on stage. Please tell us your thoughts about managing conflicts in working relationships. Over to you.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay, just checking. Again, happy first day of daylight savings time to all the women on the platform. Happy International Women's Day as well too. In terms of managing conflicts, and I'm basically always on the not so pleasant end of it because of me being neurodiverse and people in my real life network. And I'm going to split this into two of my real life network and my network on this platform. That my real life network does not get me as me, and therefore their fastest, more effective thing to do is basically get rid of the non-traditionalist, quote unquote different person in the room. And I basically had a breakthrough moment through two people in my real life, in my LinkedIn network, by name of Michelle, who does the stage leadership thing on Clubhouse on Thursday mornings and stuff, and that basically really put everything into focus and to recollection in regards to relationships of a person who is more different than you and stuff. And I think that is a situation that we need to basically square, since that Gen Z is going to be very, very neurodiverse in nature from here point forward, in terms of dealing with those different people who thinks differently and stuff. Plus, on top of it, I left a comment earlier in the pre lead up of this type of show here, in terms of show content. What a thing that we need to really, really watch out for is violations of the fraternization policy in regards to your corresponding workplace if the collaborations and work relationships turn into a personal relationship in terms of dating and potentially marriage per se. So that's a situation that we all need to be on the lookout for, because once it goes that realm, it could become, the workplace can become a very, very power keg type of a situation, of a situation that things could get very, very emotionally charged in that type of value per se. So that's what I care to leave on that type of note. But bringing it back to it, how I deal with the conflict in terms of real life is that I am basically shunned aside, and it's basically very evident in regards to some of the stuff that I was dealing with my mentor and stuff, and they basically shut it aside. And that's why I say that I always wish that my LinkedIn network was a carbon copy of my real life network in its complete entirety, because if it was, stuff would be basically done more efficiently and effectively. But a lot of people are uberly hands off in regards to the three different types of people. One of the three types of people is people wonder what happened per se, instead of being more progressive rather than, but they rather be regressive per se. So yeah.
Well,
Thank
Gregory,
you.
I love your share. And I got to tell you, I have a few counter thoughts, and then we're going to go right to Marcia because we're short on time.
Oh
Well,
boy.
after Felipe. But listen, I hear what you're saying. I do think we come down to choices of, if our actions don't work, we have to move where we're acting. If you're hitting the stump on the tree over and over again and it's not making an impact, you find a new tree or you change direction of where you're hitting the tree, because there's a knot there and you're not going to get through it. When we think about fraternization in the workplace, I'm dual sided. Number one, Felipe met his wife at work. So I know there's a stance there. But the other side of it is, I often work with small businesses that are owned by a husband and wife. And so having a policy like that when it's a co ownership situation isn't always going to work. They were related and married before they opened the business, or they were engaged and got married while owning the business together. Sometimes they weren't they owned it together and married later because the ownership created a partnership that just worked everywhere for them. That said, if you're not comfortable working in those environments, stay out of them. There are organizations that did proactively set a boundary and retroactively set the boundary once there was a ripple that they weren't anticipating. But then they went, oh no, I got a flat tire on this road. We have to make sure we put up a sign here saying we don't go down this road, right? We have to close this road or fix the pothole or whatever it is. And sometimes you just can't plan for everything. Nobody could have planned for COVID. But businesses should have a plan now that they understand that there was a ripple there. And so I think it's perspective. I think everybody has to do it their way. But it's really hard to have a no fraternization policy, Felipe.
Well,
Hold
the
on.
reason
Sorry,
why-
Gregory. Hold on. We don't have time to go back into your point of view. I'm sorry. We can do it maybe another time. But Felipe, isn't it hard to retroactively or proactively prepare for everything from an HR standpoint?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where you got to look at, like you said, hitting the brick wall. I said before, you got to go around it, over it, under it. If you're going forward and hitting it, it's not going to work. It's like me trying to communicate the same way to somebody and they're receiving it badly and causing conflict. I've got to change my approach if I expect something to change. That's why I've been sharing this quote all week. And it's funny, I shared it with my wife and she wants me to print it out and put it on the mirror in our bathroom. And the quote is, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it is a mindset change that we have to have sometimes. We can't expect to do the same thing over and over again and expect things to change. That is one of that was a bad definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to change. You have to be able to make changes yourself if you want to see changes happen. And working relationships, I will say there's a reason why there's policies in the workplace to prevent people from supervising someone that they're married to or having a conflict of interest. But I met my wife and we made sure that it was done professionally at work. We made sure that we went to separate hotels after we started dating. We didn't supervise each other. And there's, you can't stop people from falling in love. I realize that. You can't. It's just not possible. You can do whatever you want and say all you want, but you can't stop it. But you can put guardrails to make sure that it does not impact the workplace. And if it does and they violate it, then they lose their job, which sucks. But again, conflict is definitely a hard thing. So that's why we have to look at ourselves and see what can we do differently. All right, Marcia, thank you for joining us on stage. It's great to see you here. Please share your wonderful insights on this topic. The mic is
You know
yours.
what? Because I'm gonna be respectful of everybody's time. Happy IWD to all the beautiful women on the platform. But Felipe, go back over the question again because Gregory was so long I couldn't. If I forgot the questions, I don't want to.
So about what has been your challenges with conflict? How have you dealt with it, or what suggestions do you have for people, or what takeaways from today's show do you have? Anything
You
around
know,
managing conflict?
well, conflict is conflict, Felipe. And I love your wife's mantra. I'm a copy that too and post it somewhere. And you know what? Conflict is what it is, especially in the workplace, because to your you had said earlier about people's working styles. Baby, it's so different, people's working styles, and for me it's frustrating because I know different people have different working styles and I get that totally. But when somebody is lacking and nobody's being and that person's not being held accountable, that's when it becomes a problem. Yeah, because some people work styles is not for the detriment of the organization, and I'm gonna leave it right there.
No, absolutely, and that's up to leadership to make sure that style is not creating toxicity. It's not causing other people to leave, and that's an important thing because when people aren't willing to be part of the team, they're not willing to change their approaches sometimes on how they do things. They're not a team player. They're trying to they're called. I call them brick kickers. They're trying to break the foundation of the organization by causing conflict versus trying to find a solution to it. Houston, what are your thoughts? Oh, Marcia, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Melissa.
I love Marcia's approach to conflict. Every time I've seen her not happy, she just tells you and she'll let you know so you can fix it. And I love
Well,
that about
Melissa,
Marcia.
hopefully they'll fix it. They don't fix it though. Where I'm at, you know what? I don't even say anything anymore. Me and my mom talk like 2 or 3 times a day. She said, "Girl, forget them." She said, "You have a life outside of there," and that's I'm changing. Like Felipe, wife, I'm changing my whole mindset about that. That's the only way that's going to keep me sustained. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you're doing that because you came in how many times over the past 3 years saying, "This is the problem, Felipe, Melissa. This is what I want to do. This is what I've done. This is the progress." And now you're like, "Okay, I've tapped it from every side of the tree. I'm going to go find a new tree." And that's beautiful because if you can't be the change where you are, you have to move. And I love Dr. Tanya, like Nick quoted that. It was also in the chapter I wrote with Nick that be the change you wish to see. That was something my grandmother asked because we are responsible to change the view if we don't like it. We are. Whether we create a new wheel because we know there's something better and nobody's listening at the wheel factory, we just go start our own, or if we tap into others. And when we know that we've exhausted every opportunity we have, every idea we have, and they're not bringing any new ones, now we have to assess what the new step is, right? What's the ROI of this space if we can't move forward now? And if it's just to pay the bills, just to get the retirement, that's okay. Acknowledge that and go ahead and build outside of the 9 to 5.
Well, you know what, Melissa, get out of my head because I was about to say that I have so many groups I belong to outside of work, which are phenomenal, and people let me be my whole entire self. And what I bring to the table, everybody appreciate it. And more people have been asking me to do more things because they respect what I bring and they love what I bring to the table because I'm gonna, like you said, Melissa, I'm gonna be 100% up front. I don't have time. I don't have time for fluff. We got to get it done. Put it out here. And like you said, Melissa, come with solutions, not just come. I can have a beef fest with you all at all times, but if I'm not coming with any type of solution or resolutions, I'm just wasting everybody's time.
Yeah. And honestly, I love that you're in spaces where they see it because sometimes, guys, it's just getting up and getting into a new room, new perspective. When a coach or consultant comes into a business, that's all we're offering. Everybody I've talked to knew how to sell something. They knew how to get a business page up. They knew how to do a LinkedIn profile. They knew that they could use AI and ChatGPT to bolster their outcomes. They knew all of it. Their teams would have told them. I meet with their managers, the people right below them, and they're like, "Yeah, we said that to him a million times." But it's because the new person said it. And so if you're working with people who can't take in data from you just because you're not the new shiny thing, go be the new shiny thing for somebody else. Because if it takes you being new, that's what it takes.
And that's so true. And Marcia, one of the things that I love about you is that you are a great example of someone who is trying to change things for the better and that you do change your approach and you don't quit. And the fact that you have found a community that lets you be yourself, that I think motivates you, because as much as you may not think you've made an impact at your work, I can tell you have, because the things that you've shared with us that you've done, there are people in there that have heard you, that have felt you, that have rethought things because of what you shared. It may not be the change that you wanted, but you've made an impact. And that's why I think the people in your community value you so much, because they see how valuable the impact you offer is. People in the workplace, maybe not as much, but I can most guarantee you that you definitely have impacted people there. So thank you for being a great example for others of how to approach conflict, how to try to resolve it, and how not to let it get to you and bring you down, because you really are a great example.
Thank you both.
All right. Well, this has been a riveting conversation. I know that I've found value from it, even for myself. I hope all of you all have found value. Please share in the chat what your biggest takeaway has been. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, let us know if there are any topics you would like to have us tackle in the future, because as always, we welcome your insight. We value it. I do want to say thank you to everyone who joined us and who engaged. I mean, Nick, David, Meryl, thank you to Gregory and Nick for coming, and Marcia for coming up, and for Dr. Tanya and Leslie and Coach Carey, and Bonita. Oh, wow, Bonita Dorsey is in the house. Wow, I used to work with her at Hyatt. And Mary, thank you for joining us, and Christine, and Omar, and Stephen Ang, and all of you. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Houston, any final thoughts and what you have coming up?
Well, I mean, I'm going to apply all of this today immediately, but more personal. I'm going to go spend the day with my daughter and her dad at the park and try to get some of the sunshine they're promising before the snow. But then next week, Saturday, I have another coffee chat. I should have it up yet today or tomorrow. I have a big, huge on-site networking event happening at Sliced, my newest client here in town. And so I get to do some on-the-ground networking. And Felipe, I joined the Chamber of Commerce here in Bellingham. And so got to go downtown Bellingham, introduce myself to the chamber, invite them to our networking event. But it's just time to get out on the ground. It's spring. I can feel it. The energy's there. I'm going to hit the bricks. I'm going to do some old school marketing, door to door, dropping off flyers about the networking event, and just really get excited to not be online for a while, if I'm being honest. Not that I don't love all of you. I love you all, but it is time to just mix it up a bit. So make sure you're doing that too. I dare you, double dog dare you, to go find an in-person event this week. I don't care if you go do puzzles together, you go quilt together, you go donate time at the local food shelter, pantry, whatever it is. Just go out and get to know somebody in your town in a new way without paying for it. Really, just try to find something that's voluntary, something where good people are just showing up for good fun and not having to pay to play, because I think there's something valuable in those kind of rooms. And then please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find all of my stuff there. You can find the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching playlist there. And then also I'm going to be uploading a ton of shorts there, because I have all my AI clips from my show and I've been hoarding them so I could do that. So if you want to get bombarded by little snippets of Melissa, that's where you should play. Felipe, what do you got going on this week?
Well, I am got a few interviews that I'm doing for some job opportunities, and I am going to a networking event in person on Wednesday, which I gotta say, the networking events have been so valuable. Even the ones I thought weren't, you end up meeting people that you can probably collaborate or connect with in the future. You meet people that introduce you to people that might get you the job that you're looking for. You meet people that might be a client for the future. And these are people that you wouldn't have met online because they're not actively online sometimes. So I double down on what Melissa said about go out there and try to find something to network in person. And if you're looking for any services, obviously, Convenient Consulting, I do offer HR training, coaching, recruiting services, auditing, compliance. As I mentioned, I just did 2 training classes last week. So love to be able to help you all in your teams with that. And if you would be so kind to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can really see all the stuff I do there. I also have some funny videos if you want to see some past videos of me cooking when I had COVID hair. That's all I'm going to say. But what I do have coming up is on Tuesday, I have the presenters week of the virtual wellness experience. And there I will be talking about the topic I'll be presenting on at that conference. So feel free to join us on Tuesday live. It's on my page, so you can hear more about the virtual wellness experience and some of the presenters that will be there. And then on a week from Monday, I do have the Workplace Wellness Hour with Simona Jetty and Ashley Llewellyn at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Saturday, I do have the Social Saturday Chat with the Social Saturday Chat crew at 12 noon Eastern. So feel free to join us. All those are available on my YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, would appreciate that. And with that, Houston, I think we are a wrap. What do you think?
I think I'm grateful for everybody who came, all of the commentary, all of the feedback. Guys, thanks for being you. Thanks for showing up and making this a thing for 3 years, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And Felipe, you tell your beautiful wife I said hello. Tell her thank you for the quote. I already texted it to David and said, hey, I love this. I love this so much. You should definitely look at it. And so I feel that it will be printed off for me too. I think it was just great. And I think the topic is great. And I appreciate everybody who shows up to fuel this, because without them, we wouldn't do it. We would be somewhere else. We know.
Absolutely. We wouldn't be here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you all. Thank you so much for being here with us. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And like I always say, remember to be confident in what you have experience in. Be curious about what you don't know and learn it. Be grateful for what you have, because you have more than others. Be compassionate to yourself, and be tenacious as hell, because you've got this. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Adios.
In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find